My name's Eric. I'm KC-8XJ, and I'm with Universal Radio, and today we're excited to bring you a video on the Kenwood TS-590SG. This is the third rendition of the TS-590 line. Kenwood's made some nice upgrades to it over the years of this radio being in production. This is still one of the best and most capable mid-priced rigs on the market. This is a 100-watt transmitting rig, 160 through 6 meters. Receive range on this is going to cover from 30 kilohertz all the way down in long wave, all the way up through 60 megahertz. So it's got a nice broad general coverage receiver in it that works well. You can really appreciate the precision and the build quality that just goes into the knobs and interface. Very tight, solid feeling. It's got a nice rugged feel. There's a lot of metal in the chassis of this radio. I think for a radio of its size, it's actually a little heavier than most, but that metal really helps it with its heat dissipation. It's rated for continuous duty on transmit. So if you're a guy that really likes to rag chew and do digital work, this has got a lot of metal in the body for dissipating heat. There's a lot of other transmitters out there. You key the mic and run them for a while and you can hear the fans kick on. And this is something that just runs very quiet, just whisper sitting in the corner, which works really well. I want to mention there's an auto tuner that's in this model. I think Kenwood's internal auto tuners are probably some of the more broadbanded ones on the market. Definitely tunes a little wider range than some of the other competitors in this price range, and a lot of hams will appreciate that. You still got to be kind of in the 4-to-1 ballpark to get a good match on it, but that's still better than most internal tuners. I mentioned already the IF level DSP. The AGC is also done at the IF level, and they've got really good algorithms for working on the automatic gain control. Definitely one of the best and one of the nicest sounding radios on the market too. Very, very pleasant listening with good rich audio coming out of the speaker. On the transmit side, I had a chance to run this rig myself during some contesting. I got great audio reports using the factory hand mic that came with it. And as usual, Kenwood's always traditionally known for their beautiful transmit audio, and this radio falls right in line with that. The Kenwood TS-590 really has a lot of great CW features, and for a serious CW operator, they're going to appreciate in the newest SG version, they've added a very narrow roofing filter, and that's going to be at 500 hertz, which is going to be great if you got signals close to each other or really helping get rid of unwanted noise and interference. The newest SG model has a built-in CW decoder. On this side of the display where normally when you go into split mode where it shows the other VFO, it'll show 10 characters of CW scroll across the screen as it decodes. The radio has 3 antenna inputs. Antenna inputs 1 and 2 are built for both receive and transmit and can be switched back and forth. There's also a dedicated RCA jack that's in this bottom corner for a receive-only antenna. So you've got a total of 3 antenna connections to work with, which gives you a lot of flexibility. Of course, runs off a regular 13.8 12 volts DC. You'll have that 4-pin jack in there, which is very standard nowadays. Kenwood uses the same 6-pin port for their tuners that they've used on a lot of their other HF rig for years, and that stayed the same. One other feature I really wanted to point out that I really like, it's got both a serial port and a USB port for doing cat control. And this radio does have an integrated sound card. So you can download the driver from Kenwood website, connect this radio directly to a Windows machine by USB, and you're going to be able to get audio, all of your transmit capabilities, and your cat control all through the USB. And Kenwood has very nice cat control software available for a free download. So you're one USB cable away from controlling this with a computer. For those that like doing digital modes, setting this up is going to be great. You're not going to need a separate TNC or an interface to do it. The rest of the connections here are pretty straightforward. You got an external speaker jack on the back. You've got 2 separate inputs for different keys. For a straight key, they've got a direct input, and then they've got another setup for paddles. So I think it's great you can have both of them connected to the rig for those CW operators. You're going to be able to use both types or switch back and forth, which I think is great. Not a lot of radios will let you do that. I just wanted to give a quick overview of some of the features on the controls and on the display. Mainly, this is always going to be your main VFO in the front. When you operate split or turn on the CW decoder or get into the menus here, you'll see the text in the menus and stuff that go here. So definitely a nice display, definitely a lot of great information. Keypad over here on this side is going to let you jump directly to a band. They've got a neat band stacking feature, so you've got several points to where you can go through and save different spots where you've been at in a band. So at a quick push of a button, you can jump around very quickly. With the purple over the buttons here, you can hit the enter button here, and then you can go straight to direct frequency entry and go right to a specific frequency, which is nice. Radio ergonomically laid out pretty good. You can switch between your modes with the buttons right here. A lot of your attenuators and your antenna connections and stuff are right there. When you get over to this side of the radio, you're going to have adjustments for your filters and your RF gain and volume. I really like, as far as the filters go, they give you a nice representation in a bar graph. Their filters work really interesting. You've got a knob that works for both your high pass and your low pass, and as you adjust each side of the filter, you can get a representation on the bar graph over here showing exactly what your filters are doing at first glance. They also have a nice auto notch, which is built into the radio, that'll pull out some whines and noises that are constant automatically. They have also got a completely adjustable notch that you can use, that you adjust right here along with the squelch. So I really appreciate the easy layout of the radio. Definitely a radio that almost anyone could sit down in front of with a little bit of an experience, and you're often using it. It's very straightforward, not a whole lot of very complicated menus. And as far as the build quality of the knobs and the precision, you can feel the metal and the build quality in the knobs. This is a radio I just really appreciate how rugged and how solid it feels. It's definitely a joy to use. Please look at our website, which is at www.universal-radio.com. Double check our website for current accessories and options for this radio. There's some really great desk mics that Kenwood makes if you want to get into those. For somebody looking for a serious, easy-to-use HF rig, I really think this Kenwood 590SG is a wonderful model out of Kenwood.